G'day, everyone, and welcome to the pickup. We are back. We are fresh for the new year. Joining me, as he does every Tuesday, is Matty Malley. We are going to break down week 11 of the fantasy schedule. We're going to do our buy low. We're going to do our sell high, and we're going to look a bit of a review of the OG Anunoby Emmanuel Quickly trade. What are our takes from it? This was the first day they played. We've got the latest on that one. It's all coming up right after this.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Isn't it? We are paying attention, but it's also 116 all in the Raptors-Cavs game, and we're all eyes are on one Emmanuel Quickly to see how he goes in Toronto. Malley, what are you thinking?
Just like I love having a trade in fantasy basketball, I also don't mind a trade in the NBA. So, yeah, just exciting to see how they'll fit. And you're never going to get their best game in their first game as they try and mesh with their teams. But from what I saw today, it looks like they both kind of won out in this trade. So, yeah, good for them.
Yeah, mate, he's fitting in nicely. Let's go with the first game of the day. I guess we can look at in this way. OG Anunoby in the New York Knicks. The second best team in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the number one team in the West. This could be a test of the Knicks, if you will, of potential for a championship and what they're chasing. How do you think their day was? 112, getting the win over the Timberwolves 106.
Yeah, well, obviously OG, he looked aggressive the whole time. He locked Anthony Edwards up something fierce, which is nice to see. Like Anthony Edwards did all his major work when OG sat, which wasn't for very long. I mean, the dude got fouled out with like 4 minutes to go in the game, but he was high 30s in the minutes even then. So I guess he's back to playing Nick Nurse type minutes.
Yeah, he would have been on about 38, 39 minutes, probably equaling. They paid Jalen Brunson for 40, Randle 36, and Hartenstein, obviously with that huge matchup against Rudy Gobert today, he rolled out there for 39 minutes as well, which was massive. He looked comfortable straight away. He looked comfortable with New York. He looked comfortable in the corner. He's going back to the spot up threes, and he's going to get a few of them.
Yeah, he just looked more aggressive, like I said before, and that probably came down to he obviously, it being his first game in his debut here with the Knicks, he probably had to show out a little bit and act like he was happy with the trade. But I think he was, like we knew that he didn't want to be in Toronto anymore. So he came with a smile. Not that he's a very smiley guy. He's probably one leg up on the smiley ladder than Kawhi Leonard. He's another man who just does not like to smile, but that's okay. It's not for everyone. Maybe maybe he's got shit teeth or something like Harden. Yeah.
That's why they need to get the beard to grow it over. Look, mate, he looked comfortable today, and it was a horseshit foul. There was a couple of OG fouls that were quite light. Yeah. Now, I don't know what that was. When he rolled over that screen, you could on the pick and roll, you see that all the time in the NBA. Even the commentators are like, "Are you kidding me?" And everyone was standing on. You could hear Thibodeau on the bench. It was like one of those quiet moments in the Garden, and it was like, "It's fucking horseshit." And everyone's just like, he just literally rolled up. But look, that's what Rudy Gobert does. He gets you those extra calls as a big man. He's smart. He's knowledgeable in the game, and he's always going to bind someone up. They just picked him for it. He could have seen some more minutes, but I like what I saw there. And right now, as we said, Emmanuel Quickly. Now, the other pieces there, let's just say, I guess the impact straight away is this. Precious Achiuwa was pretty still shit. Great for them. Nothing there. Dante DiVincenzo still getting those starters minutes. Obviously a great bump. Love that a little bit. Grimes had a bump in that second unit as well. And Josh Hart, I was very much surprised to see Josh Hart playing down the stretch. He obviously filled in for OG when he went out with the foul trouble, but they also kept him in there for a long time with OG down the stretch. So I think Hart's going to see a bit of a bump and also a massive rebound score from him today as well. Team high, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And, you mentioned about Grimes getting a few extra minutes, and he obviously picked up some of the minutes that were left with the gap with the two guys moving out. But yeah, I don't know. I think in deeper leagues, like in my 20-man league, he definitely came across my radar, and I thought, it'd be good to pick him up. He doesn't fit what I'm doing anyway. I'm not going for points, and I'm not going for any kind of percentages. So I was like, well, he's no good to me, but someone will pick him up early today. And quickly. Oh, do you want to move on to quickly now? Should
Well,
we
yeah, I'm still
quickly
watching
move
this.
on?
Should we quickly move on? Yeah, look, it's up against the Cavs right now. The game's tight. Like for all intents and purposes, the Raptors came out of the blocks. They've gone hammer and tongs back, and the Cavs have clawed their way back in there. Obviously, still without Mobley and Garland. Look, they look energized with this, and like the big news today is Pascal Siakam trades are still being explored, and today he is running the full Pascal Siakam experience in Toronto. So quickly, you noted early he was doing all right, then had some quick fouls, Malley. So you just want to keep your eye on that.
Yeah, so if you're not doing a deep dive into the stat line, you'll probably think, why was he looking like he had a minute split with Dennis Schroeder? Obviously, we don't think that's going to be the case moving forward. They've decided he's going to be their starting guard. So, he had those 4 fouls. He got his 4th one just before halftime, and so they had to sit him, unfortunately. So it might be, in fact, for people who didn't get to watch the game today because they aren't like you and I and have jobs during during the Christmas period. But, it could be, we're not talking about buy lows and sell highs yet, but maybe you could snavel quickly off someone who looks at that and goes, oh, damn it, he played 26 minutes or whatever he's going to get up to with his foul trouble. They're going to split him with Schroeder, and, it's going to be a mess, where in reality, he's the starting point guard. And, he essentially did today what he was doing in New York. Same kind of low 20s minutes, but you're going to be able to bung another maybe 10 onto what he got today. So yeah, he looked good.
And
he
look,
looks right.
And maybe this is the guys from New York as well, getting a little bit of less time on the court as well. RJ Barrett's out there 28, 30 minutes. The rest of the starters between them, 33 for Barnes, 34 for Pirtle, and Siakam was on 38. Obviously, he's cooking in the main guy there. Trent Jr., 26, and Schroeder, 27. And that's currently with 2 minutes left in a very tight game versus the Cavs. So what we're looking at probably there is this is the minute split. You'd probably see another 3-4 minutes to quickly right now. Them off Schroeder's minutes, and RJ Barrett and Gary Trent Jr. probably switching minutes interchangeably there as well over time, just getting used to the system. But look, RJ hasn't looked too bad. 17-9 with 1 assist because, he doesn't pass the ball. 4 from 6 from the free throw stripe, 1-3. RJ is just going to probably be RJ Barrett. You get him for points, if anything, at the end of the day.
Same dude, different shirt. Like, he's just doing what he did back with New York. I think if you look at the stats as well, it wasn't a particularly great game for Scotty Barnes either. And I'd still say he's going to be the number one option there. He wasn't tonight. I guess as they integrated 2 guys into their lineup, and Siakam was going hell for leather, trying to paint himself a nice little picture before he gets traded on. But that's worth considering as well. If you're a person who's trying to snavel up Scotty Barnes, which you all should be if you want to win your fantasy leagues, maybe if you're a wordsmith and you can create a bit of a narrative around that today. He didn't look good with the 2 new guys coming in. I have no doubt that he's going to be their number one guy, but he wasn't tonight. So maybe if you want to try and pick him up somewhere, you can work someone down.
And what you're seeing right now as well is Scotty Barnes has put his foot on the gas. In the last 3 possessions, he's been the guy running the ball up the court for the Raptors, even though Pascal's been the guy. Wide open threes missed by the Cavs right now. Isaac Okoro, no surprises there. But this is it. Scotty Barnes quickly is bringing the ball up the court. He's literally about to pass it off to Scotty Barnes again, and it rests with Scotty Barnes in a tight game. Quickly is out there calling the plays. Pascal's the guy it's going to be Barnes' team. But I think we're really looking at Quickly being like the number 2 guy or a real good go-to short gap here. So you've mentioned earlier, you had a trade proposed to you in a league for Quickly that you're even considering yourself.
Yeah. I've got OG coming from a 1 Matty G a couple of days ago.
Let's talk about that in a trade.
Team, they don't even bother unpacking their bags. They just sit in my lineup. They might not even get a run before I'm already trying to ship them out. But yeah, it's just good to see what Quickly could do. He was great in the 20 to 23 minutes he was kind of getting in New York, and now that he's getting a starting position, I just think, away from fantasy, he just looked good out there too. He, unlike Schroeder, is a guy who can make his own shots. He doesn't need. He's not the distributor that Dennis Schroeder is, but that's probably also good for Scotty Barnes, who they're trying to play as a bit of a point forward. So I think, aside from looking at quickly through a fantasy lens, I think in an actual NBA lens, he looks great there. He's going to get up his shots. Remember, it must have been 2 years ago. The dude couldn't miss a free throw. He was like one of the highest free throw guys in the league.
Yeah,
and same with steals. Like he was getting a couple of steals every game, and that's kind of gone away. But I noticed when I last looked, he had 2 steals in this game in limited minutes. So that might all come back.
And look, this is a team that's gone out there and said the Toronto Raptors might be right for the fantasy and the real pickings right now, because we don't know what's going to happen in this team. Like, they are in a state of flux. Like, Bleacher Report released their story this morning saying that they are not in a rebuild. They couldn't emphasize enough. They are not trying to blow it up and rebuild. I think the exact words were, the biggest trade news was that New York Knicks weren't trying to pursue Donovan Mitchell, but the Raptors weren't blowing it up. And if you take 2 of your best players and put them somewhere else, what are you trying to do? Obviously, they're looking for quality returns. If that's the case, they're not looking for draft capital or equity. They are looking to keep something going there. I mean, that seems to be the rhetoric that is coming from Toronto right now. And let's be honest, they've done a good job with that. They've done a really good job moving OG Anunoby on. They've got 2 playable pieces. RJ Barrett is what he is, but Quickly is a great point guard option that they needed. He comes in, he fills in nicely. They've got that back, and they're not done. And Pascal is going to draw some trade interest, and they'll be able to bring some quality back into this side to really help them out.
I know RJ is a Canadian, born and bred. Is Quickly?
I don't think so.
He look Canadian. He look.
Does he look Canadian? Does he look Canadian with the beard and dreadlocks? He's a nice guy. Canadians are generally nice. Let's just put it down to that one. Look, they're definitely looking to boost it up come the trade deadline as well. And if you are looking to boost all of your punting odds, don't forget our sponsor Bonus Bank. Now, if you use the promo code INSIGHT, you can get 25% off your first month subscription. For less than $2 a day, you can make the most of your multis, your parlays, all of the bonus bets and bonus banks around Australia's betting sites. They help put it all into one place just for you to make the most of it. Don't forget about our sponsors, Bonus Bank. Check him out. Use promo code INSIGHT to get those. And Matty, let's look at our game preview, because you've been said you want to have a bit of a deep dive for ads for the next couple of days. Let's look at some hot guys. He's heating up. Give us the preview. Who do you like? Or do you want the hot guys sound drop, Matty? Do you want hot guys, or do you want the preview?
Do I want hot guys? Yeah, does a bear
do you want hot guys?
Let's do it.
Pull over by this hot guy and let me out.
We're pulled over by the hot. Who's hot for us? Who's the hot boys?
I got 3 hot guards for you, because I know you like them. Oh no, I'm not even going to say it.
Don't paint me like one of your French girls.
No, off we go. But it's only a 6-game Tuesday tomorrow, so we are going to be picking guys up off the waiver and plonking them in. The guy I've got first is Alex Caruso. It's nice to see for a rare moment in time he's not hurt. But he's getting minutes. He's getting plenty of minutes with Chicago at the moment. He's a guy who gets assists. He gets rebounds for a guard. He can put up, 15 points. He'll get a couple of threes. He can steal. He can block. He kind of is a jack of all trade and master of none. I think he's worth picking up, especially early on in your week. I always like to pick up guys who can do a little bit of everything in the earlier first few days of the week, because you don't really know. I mean, you can size your opponent up a bit and go, damn, I'm not winning blocks this week because they've got Rudy Gobert and, Miles
Chet
Turner.
Holmgren and Miles Turner. And you're scrapped.
So, it doesn't take an analytical genius to go, I'm not going to win blocks this week. But, at the start of the week, I like guys like Caruso, where you go, all right, I'm going to just, you're kind of filling each bucket up. And, he's the kind of guy to do that. So he's my first guy.
And I like that as well for Caruso as well, though, just on that, because your Tuesday, as you said, it is a light game. It's a 6-game day. The Wednesday is a little bit trickier. There are 12. It's the second most games in the week. But the Bulls do play the back-to-back. So if you do need a guard, one of these 3 guys could be perfect for your squad. If Caruso's not there, who else could you look at? Because there's the Bulls guys, so the back-to-backs for Tuesday, Wednesday, the Nets, the Bulls, the Grizz, the Pels, the Thunder, the Magic, and the Kings. So you kind of look at one of those guys. If you've got the room to squeeze too, amazing. You're probably the chances of it are low, but there is a chance.
Well, you said the Kings last, and that moves me to my second guy, which is Malik Monk. Monk. Yikers. He's not a monk. He's just a monk. He obviously played extremely well in yesterday's games. They're kind of moving away from Kevin Huerter as the starting guy. I don't think Malik's going to move into that role, but he's getting starters minutes anyway. He's getting nearly 30 minutes. He doesn't need a lot of time to do a lot of damage. I'd say he's still out there on plenty of wires, but he's another guy. He's getting a freakish amount of assists this season compared to the last couple of seasons where he'd get maybe a couple, but now he's like getting 5 or 6 assists a game. He doesn't rebound, but he'll get you a steal. He hits plenty of threes, and he's just a great scorer. So
on the back of 27 points, 5 assists, 4 threes the other day. He's gone up 2% rostered in Yahoo leagues, up to now 66%. So he's probably gone in your 10 on your 12 man, like definitely in your 14 team man leagues, your 12 teams, possibly. Like he's in my 12 team that I'm looking at right now, so you could get him in there in one of my 12s. Actually, he's available in both of my 12. Oh no, he's available in one. So he's rostered by one and he's available in another league. So it kind of depends on your rotations and your dailies, but in a points league, he's a definite grab.
He made mention too that they play the back-to-back, and the second game is on a how many games are they played tomorrow? It's like 14 or something, like 13.
Yes, six games. Yeah, 6 games tomorrow on the Tuesday, 12 Wednesday, 2 on the Thursday. The 14 is the big bumper day, and your Saturday value there is 4 games with 9 again on the Sunday this week.
Yeah, but Malik is that dual eligibility, being a shooting guard, small forward position too. So if you're going to pick a guy up who you go, well, I'm going to get plenty of run out of them in tomorrow's game, in the Tuesday game, but I don't know how I'll go fitting him in. The following day, he might be worth a pickup just even for that reason too. So have a little look 100%. At him. And my final guy is
who's your third bloke?
Is Pods, Brandon Pajemski. He's kind of a little bit like Alex Caruso actually, in the way that he'll score 15 points. He's getting a few assists, he's getting a few rebounds, he's getting a couple of steals. His percentages aren't too bad, and that's a team that's in flux at the moment. He's probably not a guy who you're going to be able to hold for a long time. We don't know if it's going to be him who stays in the starting lineup when Dre comes back, or if he's going to get moved into the second unit. But even if he does get moved, you'd still think he's going to be the 6th man anyway. So I'd say he's worth picking up tomorrow. That'll segue us very nicely into the fact that he's doing a bit of heavy lifting because his mentor, Steph Curry, is not cooking at the moment.
He is not cooking. So I guess that's probably the time we need to go back in and have a look at this one. I already played the hot guys one, but I'm going to mark it down as hot guys again, because we are going to look at our guys who are hot. We're going to look at our sell highs and our buy lows. And I haven't told you my sell highs, so I'm going to touch on that one.
Pull over by this hot guy and let me out.
And it is none other than this bloke. It is.
Hey.
It is the pod. It's sell high. It's time to sell the houses out right now on him. Now, I'm not saying in a massive way that you need to clear him off your roster in any way, shape, or form. Like, that is not the modus operandi of this whole thing when we say sell high. But we do want to look at Braden we want to look at Pod for a really important purpose. Draymond Green apparently is returning sooner rather than later. Now, that's one thing. Clay sucking is also the other thing. So there's 2 reasons that he has been bumped in value. Now, last week, he was better than he was this week. He was a top 30 player, top 40 player last week, Matty. You'd argue, and then you'd probably say that he's gone back down and slid in value the last week, which is obviously what we want to see there, like when these guys plateau to a certain extent. I mean, we don't want to see them like plateaus to a certain extent, but we really do want to have a look at what they're doing. And his minutes have gone up. He's been playing well, but he has slid back down to just around fringe 100 value right now. So people who still are in love with the fact that he has been, as you said, one of those hot guys, he's been one of the hottest streams, he's been one of the best rookies, he's in that conversation. That all does a lot. But now is the time to make a move on a sell high for Pod, because he's moved back to the bench. Not the starter minutes that he had. Draymond Green comes back. What's the implications there? And this could be very much time to sell on him. And I think it is time to sell on him. for high. In the last week, he's gone 11 points a game, 2 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. So the numbers still look there. The percentages are still there. Look, the free throw percentage in the last week wasn't that great. He's not a renowned free throw shooter to start with. But over the last couple of months when he's been a starter, he's been averaging great points. He's been getting minutes, but it's bumping down. And so this is where I see the trend going. I just see it going down further and not returning the same with the opportunity. So I think it's time to either move for him for a nice package piece and like a package deal, or someone who's going to give you consistent top 100 value for the rest of the season.
And another reason that he probably got his start and his increased minutes as well is that Wiggins wasn't playing well and Wiggins got moved to the bench. But since he's benching, he's been playing really well. I don't know if that means that Kerr will lead in there going, great, he's improved and this is where he's supposed to be in this point in his career. Or is he going to go, he's playing well now, it's time to move him back in the starting lineup. Dre's coming back, let's get the old crew back together again. I completely agree. If you can sell on him now, I mean, you're not going to be able to pull in a big fish with the Podziemski bait. But I think you're right. If you want to get any sort of value of him, you grab him now. Yes, you get rid of him now.
And there's another guy that you're thinking is a sell high, and that the door is wide ajar. And today he was absolutely blistering pace. It's none other than the guy who I couldn't find a better picture of this than for the graphic. One Julius Randle, sell high. Now this is a guy we thought at the beginning of the season, Malley, absolutely shithouse. He was having a historically bad beginning of the year. Tell us why he is now a sell high target for you.
It's funny in one of my other leagues with Matty O'Brien, one of the owners of Julius Randle in that league, got on the chat one day and said, "I'm sick of this guy, Julius. He's gone. Like he's on the block, training for a carton of bad beers." But I think it was like 4 days or 5 days later, I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it. Like, let's get a trade happening." He's like, "Nah, he's good now." And I feel like that is exactly the story of Julius Randle. His percentages are usually absolutely woeful, so you can't even punt one and hold fast to the other because he sucks with both. But he hasn't sucked with both for the last few weeks. His free throws are going in. I think he locked, was it 6 of 8 or something today, which is about what he's been doing. He hasn't been taking as many 3-pointers, which is probably good because usually they are trash. I think even today, I don't think he hit one, or he hit one and 2 of them were air balls. So he's a strong boy. He puts his shoulder down and he's deciding that that's going to be what he does at the moment. So that's made his field goal percentage go up. His free throw percentage has gone up. I don't know why, but I wouldn't count on that being a trend that's going to continue. I think that, this is a bit of a flash in the pan for old Julius Randle. But
Julius Randle.
Julius. So just even looking
Orange
at his
Julius
season stats compared to just his last 7 days, he's gone up 3 minutes, which probably is I'd say that's going to ebb and flow depending on what he's doing in the game. But he's from 23 and a bit points nearly to 29. He's gone up a rebound. His assists are about the same. In fact, he's dropped a little bit. Steals and blocks he never does, and his turnovers have gone up just in that 7-day span. So this is a hot streak for Julius Randle. Let's not get it twisted. We know who he is. We know who he's going to be till the end of his career. Some people won't, and some people will believe this. He's probably done it for long enough now over these last nearly 3 weeks that someone will go, right, okay, Julius has had a big turnaround, and you can sell him off.
Julius Randle in a points league is also much higher. I find him, as you said as well, the percentages can drag you down a little bit, and so they're a little bit of fool's gold. But if you're in a points league, he's racking them up, and that's what you want in the points league. So obviously he's going to be a little bit harder to get in a points league. But this being said, this is a new look New York Knicks. He has provided value in the past. Like this is a guy we have to also remember was an all-star. He was a consideration for first team All NBA a couple of seasons ago. He seems to have this. He was like the old Star Trek movies. There'd be a really good one, and then a shit one, and then a good one, and then a shit one. And that was Julius Randle season. It actually seems he's going okay. I think he's happy this season. I think when he's personally, this sounds so weird to say, but when he's happy, he does a better job. just like you and me when we're at our respective employees. If you're happy, you're just content to go to work and do your job and dig in. And I think he's a very emotive basketball player in that way. And he's had a bit of an issue in his relationship with the New York Knicks organization and with their fan base. But he's got a lot of capital there right now. And you definitely saw him today, especially in that game against the Timberwolves. He wanted to drag the team to the finish line after OG went out. Like the isolation plays there, the spins to the corners. There was a little bit distribution, but he can give you those big rebound numbers. He can fill across the board. I'm playing against him this week in one of my matchups, and I was like, Jesus, like this guy could be trouble because you can't underestimate him. So this is where you want to get him, but this is why. Because when he puts this string together, he's an absolute sell high guy. And you've got the other one here for us, and this is a guy right here is an absolute big sell high guy for you. We've got Avakia. I never know how to say it. I say Avacha Zubac. I never know how to say his first name properly, mate. Tell us a little bit.
Avika. Yeah,
it is Avika.
I don't know. We're both going to murder. What country is he even from? Is he like Spanish? What the heck? I don't know what part of the world he's even from. He's probably Zubac. That's probably somewhere in.
That's not. Is Bosnia? He's Bosnia. He's Bosnian Herzegovina. He's Bosnian Herzegovian for memory. I could
not even close to Portugal or Spain.
It's not Portugal or Spain. I think he does look a little bit like a Herman Gomez, to be fair. He does look like a Wancho.
Yeah. What's the game on Google where they show you a little image, a still image, and you got to click on the globe and you can see how close you are? I could do that with a few NBA players.
Wait a second.
Just have an absolute mess of where he is. But yeah, I've got while you're doing some critical research.
He is Bosnian. He is Bosnian Herzegovina.
Yeah, and he's
born in March 18, 1997.
He can't be the Bosnian Beast because we've already got one of those in the league.
He's the new Bosnian Beast, and tell us why he is the Bosnian Beast right now.
Well, he's probably outplaying the other Bosnian Beast at the moment, but I think the reason you need to sell him at the moment, if you are planning on selling him, is purely and simply it looks like Plumlee's coming back. And it's not going to be a huge impact, but you can see even with he's played 25 games, he and Plumlee together. And in that time, his statistics went down. Not a huge amount, but they have gone down. I said here that I think he's going to take a hit, not only with Plumlee coming back. I don't think Plumlee is going to be an exact interchange minutes for minutes with Tice. I think they like Tice too. So I think they're going to try and give Tice some of those minutes. So I think that they're both going to lose minutes. I think Tice is obviously going to lose minutes. I think Zubac is going to miss minutes. And I think Plumlee's going to get, he's maybe 14 minutes or so back in the mix as well. So he's been playing red hot as well.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. On this season, he's averaging 27 minutes, so just under 27 minutes for the last week. And this is why we say this right now is your sell high opportunity. He's averaging 32.3 minutes. So all of a sudden there we see an extra 3 minutes, 5 minutes of game time. And in this last week, he's averaging plus 700 from the field, 15 and 20 his last game, a block shot every single game, minimal turnovers, boyish percentages. His free throws have been fantastic over the past week. Like he's absolutely on a seamer. And when people look, Matty, we've said before, people kind of just do a little bit of a shallow dive. Like they'll look back at the last few games and they'll see what that does. And they'll see the last three. Then they'll see him have an average one where not much, but then they'll go back, 12 and 9. So he's pretty much been averaging a double-double consistently for a while. So it shows a track record. And yeah, the minutes, like he's done it in 26 and 28 minutes, but you love to see the 31, 33, but that's going to be capped soon enough. So that's your window.
Yeah, and as you said, like if you go into the ESPN app or website, I think if you click on the player information, it only goes back over the last 15 games. So as you said, you don't see those games on there. If someone has a quick look and goes, "Oh, he's killing it," like look at this, it's hidden that information. What he was doing at the start of the year. I think Harden's been great for him. I think nearly every single game begins with Harden feeding him in the post and him getting the first 2 points of the game. So he always starts strong in the game. So he's definitely taken advantage of Harden coming in. But I think by the same metric, Plumlee will love that too. Plumlee will do some of his reverse jams that he does. and Harden can just feed him as well. So,
Harden works well. You're a Harden
fan.
fan. You're a student of Harden. I know he's one of your favorite players. He is a pick and roll maestro. Like, he really does love to use the pick and roll in his arsenal, doesn't he?
Yeah, sometimes to a fault, but yes, he's certainly one of the best in the league at being able to do it. And where's I was going to say Mason Plumlee. I don't think I need to guess where in the world he came from. He sounds like he's an All-American, saw with the Eagles and
I can
100%
guarantee you he is not from Bosnia Herzegovina. It's not where he's from. But you know where he is also. He's in the freezer, just like these next bloke, because these are our buy low boys. And our buy low guys as well are brought to you by our good friends over at the Standard Squeeze. Don't forget, Christmas might be over, but you can never not give the gift of Standard Squeeze, the 4-in-1 cups, the travelers, perfect for camping and everyday life on the go. Use promo code INSIDE15. They've got the merch, they've got the hats, they've got the shirts. I gave my missus one she's doing this in the background. I think that's because she thinks it's very pretty. I think that's the wife signal for that was a pretty 4-in-1
she's trying to
cup.
tell you it's raining outside, mate.
It's not raining outside. It's not raining inside. She's like, this is signals for thank you, Matthew. It not only keeps my beverage cold if it needs to be cold, but it also keeps it warm if it needs to be warm. And I know that you use that promo code INSIDE15, so don't act like you paid full price. So make sure you do 100%. Use INSIDE15 for 15% off. My first buy low, mate. I've got some boys who I haven't shared with you this one, and there's none other than one, D'Angelo Russell. I think this is the time of D'Angelo Russell. Why? Because we all know that it is trade market time around this time in Lakerland. It's this time. It's this season of giving, and it's the size of giving out trades around the Los Angeles Lakers. And we've all heard of the news that D'Angelo Russell could be moved for a while. The contract itself is a very friendly contract, but he's also now starting to be inconsistent. Much like our guy Julius Randle, to start the season, he was historically bad. Well, D'Angelo Russell was historically good to start the season. Unfortunately, when we have a look over the last few weeks, he hasn't been putting it together with the consistency that we like. His last 38-minute game was the highlight, not efficient from the field, 1 from 1 from the line, 2 threes, 17, 4, and 8. Since then, we've not only seen a decline in minutes, 17, 18, 29, and 20. We've also got him injured right now. So he has injured his tailbone, and he's part of this whole, coming back. Is he injured? Is he not injured? Kind of rotation that's happening sometimes with the Los Angeles Lakers. They do kind of keep us in the dark all the time. It's not good. Now, this was a guy that we did think for a while, Matty, was absolutely fantastic on the season. Like, everyone's like, we're bouncing back. It's bounce back D'Lo time. And I know there's been some movement in some leagues that we've been in of D'Angelo Russell. I think, did you trade him at one point as well? Were you involved in a D'Lo trade? I know Matty O'Brien was.
I got him as a bit of a throw-in from, I think, from Matty O'Brien. I forget, he was kind of just a moving piece, but this was also before he was anywhere close to being benched. I think this was probably getting close to the end of his nice run at the beginning of the season. But they've made it very clear now that they're not going to run a traditional point guard. It doesn't look like they're just saying that LeBron's going to do that. Which to me kind of looks clunky, but anyway, maybe I'm a bit too much of an NBA.
He's one of the best passes. No, look, he's one of the best passes of the game. His vision's elite, but I don't think initiating the offense every possession up the court is something that he also did that anyway. He didn't need to dribble the ball over the half court because once they got in their sets and their rotations, he sets it up anyway. So I just think it's just a move there, and he's lost that trade value that he had potentially at the beginning of the season. Look, we're even hearing rumors today that they might be going after DeJounte Murray for him, which is weird because if they're going to go to this point guard system and they're going to bring DeJounte Murray into that system, well, then they're getting a point guard back anyway. So D'Lo goes to Atlanta to work off Trae Young. I'm not sure what's going on there, but in the last 2 weeks alone, he has been playing around 25 minutes. He has gone outside the top 175. So in a 12-man league, that's well and truly bloody droppable. 10 points a game, 1.5 threes, not even 1.8 rebounds, 5 assists, half a steal, half a block, 426 and 800 from the line. This is not good for him. He has not been good the last 2 weeks. So this opens up a massive buy low window on him because I truly do believe that he will be better than this. I don't think he's been. I think all the unhappiness is creeping in. He's injury, his lack of an identifiable role within the Lakers organization, they were playing well to begin the season with him in the team doing his thing. And then when it doesn't work, we always find these outlets that are like to blame. And I think we're now going to blame D'Angelo Russell for the Lakers' faults. Inherently, there has to be someone. There has to be a scapegoat on a LeBron team. Let's be honest, most of the time. We've historically had it. In Miami, it was Bosh, and back in Cleveland, it was Kevin Love. There's always this scapegoat person because we can't blame greatness for some reason. And it's, Westbrook for the Lakers.
Yeah.
His predecessor. We can't blame them. We also can't blame LeBron and we can't blame AD because those guys are playing their asses off. And we don't want to blame Reeves because we like the bloke more. Can we blame the injury-plagued season? Maybe. Can we blame the inefficiencies on offense that they seem to have in this clunky system, as you said? Yeah, we can. But that's why if you feed into the narrative that D'Lo is partly responsible for this, it only decreases his value further, making that a bargain basement opportunity for you. And right now he is a very, very droppable player, Matty.
Yeah, and I think it just on that statement alone, you got nothing to lose. If someone will give you someone for him, and you can, without the he's going to get traded very soon narrative, no one's going to pick him up, I wouldn't think, or you're only going to get someone of equal value back. And what's the point? You might as well just fish along in the wire. But yeah, I think if there's any sort of rumblings coming up about him on the move, that's probably the time to do it. And maybe that's even now with DeJounte Murray's name getting thrown about as someone who might be coming in. Maybe, there's always going to be one guy in the league that you can try and work down and get a little response out of and see what you can get.
And talking about coming into the season, there was one player that was talked about with illustrious top 25, top 30 value because of the way they exited the 22-23 season. But right now, there has been a bit of a buy low that I think might be shifting. But Matty, this guy was one that was involved in a trade between you and I in a league, which was just the most timely trade I think I've seen in fantasy meets real basketball in a very, very long time. Talk us through that trade and why Mikal Bridges still, I think, may have a small window of buy low, but I'm starting to see it just shift a little bit.
Yeah, well, we set our own little personal history by having our first ever trade in fantasy basketball setting. Yep, we did it, which is good, a little milestone.
Took us 11 weeks to get there.
Yep, I'll put it on the calendar. We'll try and beat that.
Anniversarize it every year
around next year. Exactly. So you took Mikal Bridges off me, and in return I got Cam Johnson and I got OG. This is before we knew OG. This was before the trade. Yep. Well, I think he was still like the trade had been accepted, but I hadn't got a game with him yet or something. I think this is the first today.
We had accepted that trade, and then within 24 hours that news broke, and then we were in our own chat going, "This is going to get vetoed." There's no way, shape, or form that someone lets you get up those two blokes for me getting that one bloke back. Considering there's been similar value with both of them until that point, and then the cherry on top. So we were kind of like, we thought it might get nixed.
Yeah,
I did.
And some people might say that we were the actual antecedent for OG's actual real life NBA trade.
Probably true. It's probably accurate.
Yeah. There's whisperings about that in very small circles. But so that was a trade we did. We know what it's barely a circle. The circle has to go all the way around. But we know what Mikal Bridges can do. He's a guy who can put up a 40-point game. Cam Johnson isn't going to do that, and neither is OG. So, there's definitely that advantage there. He is still, regardless of his slump, the number one option in Brooklyn at the moment. Ben Simmons, if he ever comes back, will change nothing to do with that. I think it's a good omen that Cam Thomas has been moved into a bench role, because I think that was one of the reasons that Mikal has had his slump, is because Cam Thomas is very shot heavy. He's very there would be times, I think it was a game before I decided I would go through with the trade, where Cam Thomas came right to the top of the 3-point line. Two guys came out for him. Macau was in the corner, like
Oh,
clapping
I
his hands,
saw
like,
that.
let's go, this is my shot. And he still jacked it up anyway. And I thought, oh, yuck, like this is just the future.
And not a
So,
notoriously good
you-
3-point shooter as well. For a scorer, he's not a heavy 3-point shooter as well. So,
he's a pull-up twos guy. So
yeah.
that kind of broke my heart a little bit. And that's probably what what pushed the trade over the edge. But we'll see who ends up being the overall winner. As you said, you probably wouldn't have done it if you knew OG was going to move to the Knicks, because
I probably would have just said a
going to
straight
get a great opportunity.
I probably would have said a straight swap. Like, I probably wouldn't have thrown in Cam Johnson. And the thing is this, I actually had Donovan Mitchell. I had someone in IR. I was playing in between my IR slots. So we both had an IR slot. You were filling it in with Drummond and doing some streaming work because you're a heavy streamer. And I think for me, it was the fact that I had Cam Johnson, who's small forward, power forward eligible, and OG Anunoby, who in ESPN in our league is only small forward eligible.
Yep.
And I was kind of stuck for a position. So this was actually holding up a roster spot for me. So the biggest coup that I got in this trade wasn't the fact that it was some brilliant blistering trade. I had to drop either Trey Murphy or I had to drop Cam Johnson. It was a toss-up. I could have just gone either way. I've decided to back on Trey, who's now a little bit injured. I'm like, whatever. I think he might come good. He showed me that last season. I believe in Trey. It was a 50-50 split, and I was going to give you either one of those two instead of putting them on the waiver. But my big win was that now I have that flexibility where I can get that guy, Mikal Bridges, with his shooting guard eligibility in that role, which just opens up more for me to generate in my squad. So I think it comes out win-win at the end of the day. You get to drop a bum, and we make moves there. So look, this comes back to the fact that Mikal Bridges has been inefficient, and that's been the biggest knock on him. I think that window is starting to creak shut. The 20 shot attempts the other day were the most shot attempts since the 20th of December versus the New York Knicks, where he only hit 4 shots. And it was his worst shooting game of the entire season. So this is where the narrative crept in that he was shithouse. And you know what? He was a bit gun shy, and Cam Johnson took over that one. He only had 4 shots 2 games previous to that as well. But the 20 shots, I like it. I like anything from him 14 to 18 shots a game. I like it. 20 shots is fantastic because he will be better than 400% from the field, which he was last game. If he creeps up to his usual percentage of 430, we're looking at 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, no turnovers, and I'll take it. But I think if he does this I think this is it now, because if it happens again, I do think the buy a low window, mate, it does. I wouldn't have sent that trade to you. I don't think now if that was going to be the case again. And I don't think I think he'd be looking for a better piece too.
And this is also before Trey Murphy's injured knee flared up as well, which probably, again, hindsight being 2020. Is it
2020?
What's it saying?
Yeah, hindsight's 2020.
I was like, nah,
40-80,
60-60. Yeah. Shout out to our to Inside Fantasy Sports Big Bash. So I think that probably would have changed things. But we know that he's a Middleton-like shooter. He's Middleton-esque in the fact that he has been a high 800s percentages from the line. I think the other thing besides him standing in the corner and not getting his shot the other day that also broke my heart was he went, I think it was 11 of 16 free throws. At the end, they were just fouling. He would get the ball and they were fouling him, not because he was having a bad night, just because they wanted to get the ball in his hand. And that's one of the things that he was hanging his head on. That's one of the categories that I really need to start winning in the league that we traded in. So that was another reason that kind of pushed me over the edge. But I mean, without being, looking at this situation unemotionally, we know that he's a good percentages guy from each of the 3 positions. He can generate a few defensive stats. Obviously, that's probably left back on the court in Phoenix. He's probably not going to be that same guy, but his role's changed. He's obviously a distributor now. He can rebound, because he's aggressive and tall and athletic. So, yes. Yeah.
And as you said, buy low, and it's today. Like, listen to this pod, have a look where he's available in your league, and do some work now. Because if he has one more game like this last one, that's well and truly over. And again, his free throw percentages, as you said, are historically good. He's an 829% free throw shooter, which is down from last year, 895. So it's basically his worst in 3 years, but barely. It's at 829 for the year. But he's had some inconsistent ones lately, as you said the other day, 9 from 15, which is odd for him. 5 from 7, 3 from 3, 10 from 10. And then he goes 0 from 1, 6 for 6 the game before, 2 from 5. And then he's almost perfect from the line for weeks. So it's just been inconsistent with him. I think he'll turn it around. And I'm also banking on a turnaround at the end of the season where they're just playing basketball and having some more fun in Brooklyn where it's not going anywhere, because he does play games and he does believe in getting out there and giving it a crack, even if it was for that 2 minutes one. And the last one, mate, I'll let you lead this one. This is one that we both share, which is, it just feels dirty to say it, Malley. It feels absolutely dirty to say that Steph Curry is a buy low, mate. Tell us, Steph Curry, buy low, and why in your books, mate?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. It does definitely feels really dirty having his face up there with buy low anywhere near it, because this doesn't happen with Steph Curry. Steph Curry is consistent. I know you like your guys consistent, and Steph Curry is pretty close to being captain consistency. But for you and I not to talk to each other and then both have Steph Curry as one of our buy low guys, there's obviously people having that thought. I saw today that he, over his last 10 games, has a plus minus rating of -38, which kind of encapsulates what's happening here with Steph Curry.
It's sad.
It's been really well advertised. Yeah, it is. It is grim. I'm not a big Steph Curry guy, and being a James Harden Houston Rockets fan, I don't have much love for Steph Curry anyway, because of the amount of times he's absolutely put a pound down on Houston. Yeah, so obviously he it's been well advertised that his 3-point record came to an end. His 3-point points made. But I've written down things here like he seems lost without Dre. Those two obviously are like, the best of bum buddies. They just always seem to be together. Dre sucks and sits games and has a sook when Steph gets injured. And when Dre's suspended, Steph just looks lost and unhappy out there. We know that Dre might be coming back as early as next week. So that's a reason why this window will start shutting. He can't hit his threes at the moment. Another thing that I see floating around all over Instagram is they love to advertise, because they like to chuck Bron's name in anything with Curry, because that's clickbait. But LeBron James' 3-point percentage at present is better than Steph Curry's, which is the absolute definition of clickbait. But you'd be silly to think that Steph Curry's not going to be able to rein this back in, and I think it'll be a hard
100%.
buy low to get him. But depending on the person's position, I mean, we can all see that this isn't the real Steph Curry. But again, if you're a big part of this game of fantasy basketball, especially when it comes to trading, is being able to be a good negotiator.
And desperation.
Yeah, that's why I'm so good at it. You just desperation at all times.
Yeah. I think you've hit it at the nail on the head. It is partly desperation, but it is partially negotiating, because there is a happy medium between things. Again, I use the whole thing. It's like, is that on sale right now? Oh no, that's excluded from discount. Well, there are certain players that are excluded on discount, and I always think that's a top two, like your first 2 rounds of picks are generally like excluded from discount. And Steph Curry is a first round guy. I know I took him in one league this year and I traded him off in another one. I traded him off when he was excelling. And the thing is, you need to look at the compare and contrast of the player on the season, on who they are and where they are in the last week or two, because that's where the buy low window like you have now. On the year, he is a roughly a top 25 player on the year. Great. In the last week, he barely cracked the top 100. And this is why. He's playing about 33 minutes a game on the year and in the last week. You said the 3-point percentage, which is woeful for him. It's 348 last week and it's 410 on the season. But this is what you go from. You go from 27 points a game, last week 19. The rebounds, the threes are still there though. He's still making around 4 a week. He's been 4.7 for the season, 4 last week. Rebounds down from 4.4 to 3. Assists, they were actually up. 4.5 for the season, 6 last week. Funnily enough, last week, steals were up 1.5. So there's some merit there. His field goal percentage was 300 though on the week, which is what really tanks that hard. His free throw percentage is at 857 last week, 931. He is an elite free throw shooter. So you can see there alone, the assists are up, the steals are up. They're both good cats to have. The offense will return. It'll presumably, and generally speaking, he plays better with Draymond on the floor. they need to turn it around at some point this season. And I think you're bang on, mate. Like, this is a guy who historically, right now, he's like, LeBron James is not this good at 3-point shooting, but Steph Curry is not this bad at 3-point shooting.
Yeah. And you've got to give it to Steph. Like, you kind of brought it up incidentally there that he's a guy who'll try and shoot his way out of shooting slumps, but he's also a person who goes, all right, I'm not going to hit it, and he'll start distributing. So he's a bit of a seesaw guy. So when his threes are down and his points are slightly down, his assists go up. So you're always winning something, like he's got categorical kind of diversity in that sense. But yes, he'll be a hard one to wrangle off someone. But people are very, and this is coming from the master of this, the pinnacle point of panickers. There's people who go, no, I picked him as 10, and if he's at 10th and if he's not going to be the 10th guy at the moment, I don't want him.
Yep.
I'll take someone who, trade him for a Scotty Barnes, trade him for someone who's like playing their ass off at the moment, someone who's still, because the person who got Steph Curry, this might be a generalization, but generally the people who pick up Steph Curry's, especially if it's not a competitive league, are the people who are just like weekend warriors who watch the Saturday games, who watch the primetime games.
Warriors, no pun intended there at all. No, yes, a little bit.
I missed my own pun. Oh Lord,
you missed your own pun. I didn't think I'd see the day, Matty Malley.
No.
Talking about puns, we need to talk.
Everyone.
Well, we actually do need to wrap it up. What are we going to say this pod? This is the back end. You can jump off now, but before you jump off, make sure you like and subscribe and do all the things. You can follow this bloke Malley at live_my_fantasies, and me, I am at NBAGWiz. But make sure, most importantly, you follow at Inside F Sports on Twitter and all of the things. Make sure you jump in our Discord. That is below. Like and subscribe to all of our content. It's across NBA, BBL, we've got NRL starting up. We've got Big Bash is just cracking the as I said, NBL as well here for basketball in Australia. You want to get right across the suite of Insight Fantasy Sports right here on the Insight Podcast Network. How's this for today's title? Cold curry? No? Do you like your curry cold? Oh, too hot to Randle.
Oh, they are both punalicious, but maybe you can blend it together in some sort of hybrid. And if you're listening,
build a bridges and get over it.
Yeah, that'd be cute too. Yep. Look, there's just so many good options. A couple of dads just thinking of some great titles. Like I was just saying to say as well, like if you're listening to this, throw in the comments what you want to hear. Like Matty and I are pretty happy to talk about whatever. If there's something you want to know about, put us to work. That's what we like to do. So yeah.
And this is one of our
we're like
we are like hoes. We are like hoes. We love the DMs as well. Keep them coming. We love taking your questions and those like things on Discord. Hit us up on Twitter. We love those private messages. Make sure you do get those as well. And any viewer mailbags, put it in the comments. We'd love to chat it. It's a lot of fun. We love bringing you the pickup each and every week. We'll catch you tomorrow for an Inside NBA pod, and we'll catch you again, both of us. I'll be back later in the week, obviously, with my show, but we'll catch you again next Tuesday for the pickup. Check you later.